Hey everyone. Oh, wait. Sorry. Hey everybody. Welcome to Community Cooking with the Co-op. I'm Paul Addis. I'm a librarian at the Coos Bay Public Library. Tonight I have with me my partners over at the Coos Head Food Co-op, the outreach coordinator, Tim Bolster. Behind the camera, we have Alan Bartle. And tonight we actually have, hey Alan. And tonight we actually have Coos Head Food Co-op's produce manager, Marlow, is going to make us a vegan dish, which I will let Marlow explain. It's all yours, Marlow. Oh, one thing I was going to say, if you guys have questions, feel free to respectfully unmute and ask or put them in chat and I will feed them to Marlow. Thank you, Marlow. It's all yours.
So I'm going to be making Trumpet Royale scallops with bok choy and then a miso sauce. Trumpet Royale is a kind of mushroom. They look like this. And what we're working with is mostly the stem, which is most of what the mushroom is. But we're able to make it into pretty similar to actual scallops. It's a fun one. Uh,
Are we going to do anything with the cap of the mushroom too?
that one, I actually, so when I cut it up, and I'll talk about it a little bit later, but when I'm making it so it look nice, or if I'm just cooking for myself, I just like eat it with the rest of them. But I use it as my tester to see if I like how much it's cooked yet.
Oh, cool.
Um, kind of
Cool.
they're useful that way. And then also
Awesome.
like they're delicious. Like if you're not caring about how it looks, like it's fine.
Yeah.
Great.
Which I've never had trumpet mushroom, and I'm excited to try it.
Gonna,
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely.
Try it tonight.
uh-huh.
I'm gonna learn.
You're gonna learn. So I'm gonna get started by getting the marinade started, which is what gives it the seafoody taste. We're gonna be using miso paste for that, and a little bit of rice vinegar,
All right.
sesame oil, liquid aminos, any kind like soy sauce is fine too. I'm just using liquid aminos because that's what we have in both, and I just wanted a little bit of it. And this is also so it's vegan and gluten free.
Excellent. And are you just going to make that in a little pot?
Yes.
Perfect.
And a little pot, and I got a little thing to pour it into, which I'm gonna have the mushrooms cut up and put in there.
Oh,
So we'll
excellent.
marinate mushrooms in the sauce
Yes.
in a separate vessel in a moment.
Ideally, I like to marinate them overnight, but obviously we don't have that kind of time. So at
Sure.
least 15 minutes minimum. Usually by the time that the bok choy is done, the like they're flavorful enough. It's just like you'll get more flavor the longer you do it. Also, I recommend if you're not vegan, usually using half the amount of soy sauce and replacing the other half with fish sauce, or even like a little bit less soy sauce than that. The fish sauce gives it a really like oceany taste because of the
Sure.
fish. But I'm not using
Nice.
that because I'm keeping it vegan.
Yeah.
All
Sure.
right.
Cool. And
So
Okay.
appreciate the alternatives because we have so many different diets in the crowd.
All right. Where are we getting? The miso?
we're gonna start. I haven't
Oh,
used this
yes.
before.
Okay. I'm gonna turn this on for you.
And I'm gonna put 2 cups of water into here, and then 2 cups, not 2 cups, 2 tablespoons of the miso.
Okay.
Cool. 2 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of miso paste, and I'm turning our stove here to high. Is that what you said?
Perfect.
All right. We're going high.
Sounds like we want to bring it to a boil, maybe.
Yes. And we're not gonna keep it boiling as we make it. We're just gonna get it to a boil so that we can get all the miso dissolved. And then I'm gonna take it off of it and mix the rest of the stuff in, and then add the mushrooms to it because we don't want
Awesome.
to cook mushrooms right now. We're just trying to make little sauce.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Mm. Oh, not for humans. Not for humans. But I like
I
it.
do love miso. I feel like when I see miso in a recipe, I know it's
Yeah.
gonna go.
And that's the fun thing about this. What I do at the end is I use the rest of the marinade to make the sauce because it's not wasteful at all. And also what I like about that is that since we're just using mushrooms, there's no meat involved, so like the marinade's totally good to fill with.
Yeah, miso just adds so much like salty umami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gives it that. Oh, I should get a little.
Yeah, a little stir.
This one. Yeah.
And growing up, we never used miso. I feel like it was like in the past 10 years that I discovered the power of miso.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like a paste?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's very much it's goop, but it's like
Oh,
thick.
yeah, yeah. I think I always picture miso as a broth.
It's used to make broth a lot. So
Right,
miso,
right, right.
So it's miso's fermented beans.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, rice, and I don't know, they age it like several years. Most of them are like 2 or 3 years old, aged.
The I think that the Sundance up in Eugene has miso in bulk, and I think that's really cool.
That is cool.
I don't think we go through enough miso here to.
We used to do our fermentation nights here. Someone brought homemade miso one time, and it's really cool.
Excellent.
All right.
I feel weird using other people's cooking utensils.
So are you kind of like trying to break up the miso in there?
Yeah, because I want to get it broken up and dissolved as fast as possible. Partially because like this is a 1 hour cooking class, and partially because like it doesn't need to sit and boil. You know, it's going to be sitting in its juices for a while. I'm actually going to add the kelp powder now as well, just to give that a little bit of a chance to cook in.
So we're adding some kelp powder.
Yes, which if you're doing the fish sauce, you don't need kelp powder. That just gives a little bit of like little ocean flavor.
Nice.
I'm doing a tablespoon of that. Not a tablespoon, a teaspoon. A little that.
Teaspoon of the kelp powder.
Great way to make it seafoody without having any extra.
Yeah. And we actually have kelp powder, kelp granules, and then dulse flakes, and I think one other kind of seaweed available. And that's just in bulk. We have some other stuff in the package.
Excellent. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And the granules work too. The only thing is there is a way grittier texture. So if you use that, I would recommend like straining it out if you're going to make a sauce with it, just because it's not super pleasant to me anyway.
And so is that about a tablespoon of kelp powder?
Teaspoon.
A teaspoon of kelp powder. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have 2 tablespoons of miso, teaspoon of kelp powder, and 2 cups of water in the pot.
Yes. We're having fun.
Gonna let it boil, breaking up the miso.
Yeah, and also the kelp powder, it sometimes clumps together, so you gotta break those up too because it's dry on the inside. So I just like take a wooden spoon and just kind of like smash the chunks against the side of it. That's just what works best for me.
Nice.
What flavor miso is she using?
What flavor
so
miso?
And this one just says miso. I usually use which one do I use? I'm not very picky with it.
Yeah. So there's usually what, yellow miso?
There's yellow, white, red. There's a couple of different ones that I haven't tried before. We just got a new one in that's a barley one, which I can't have, but it's country barley, and I'm really curious about it.
Yeah.
But this is just any miso will work.
Yeah, I think whatever you have is probably fine.
Cool.
I just got the cheapest one that we have here.
I have a miso tip for you.
Ooh,
Nice.
What's that?
Since it's only 2 tablespoons of miso going into 2 cups of water, if you take just maybe a half a cup of water to begin with and mix it with a whisk or a fork with the paste, and then put it in the rest of the water, it's so much easier to get rid of the lumps.
that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Excellent. Good tip.
In the future.
Yeah, sometimes I'll kind of boil the water first and take like a ladle and add the miso in the ladle and use a fork to kind of like mix it all up. And then you almost get this like really concentrated miso broth, and then you just add it to the rest. And
there you go.
Yeah.
So I've got most of the chunks out now, and it doesn't have to actually completely to a boil. Either way it works, as long as everything's getting dissolved.
And the hotter it gets, I think the more the miso will break down too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on a little kind of hot plate here, which takes a little longer to boil. So if we actually want it boiling, we can throw it over on the actual.
Our burner's high might not really be high, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, our high is probably your medium. So.
All right.
This will be interesting too because the stove at my apartment runs really hot, so I'm trying to adjust the temperatures to account for that. But
yeah,
it'll be fun.
Yeah,
we're gonna.
Cool.
So it seems everything's nicely dissolved, so I'm actually gonna take it off now, just so that we can get a little further.
So now you have more of a liquid mixture.
Yes. So it's completely dissolved. Everything's nice.
Excellent.
Hold it up for Ed.
Oh, yes.
I'll switch here. Okay.
Oh yeah, looks like miso soup.
Yep, it's a little
broth.
bit green from powder, but like no problem with that.
Cool.
So next I'm gonna start adding the other stuff to it, which I'm actually gonna put it into this bin. So I've got my miso kelp mixture.
Okay, so we're moving it all into a separate
Yeah.
kind of mixing bowl or something like that.
Yeah, and like anything works. I wouldn't use plastic just because like hot plastic, that's scary. So next I'm going to take they're showing pesto pasta out there.
Oh, that's from, I forgot the store's still open.
So I'm going to take half of a tablespoon of oil, which I'm using sesame oil because I feel like the flavor works the best.
So half a tablespoon of sesame oil?
Yes.
Cool.
All right.
And
I do love sesame oil.
Yeah, me too.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what we also have in bulk here, which is really fun. So you can have as much or as little as you want.
Nice. Half a tablespoon of
That's a
sesame oil.
tablespoon, which I don't have a half tablespoon, so I'm just using a tablespoon and just filling it halfway.
Cool.
It's fine.
That'll
And so
work.
then I do 1 tablespoon of coconut aminos or soy sauce or whatever salty little thing you got.
1 tablespoon.
Yeah.
Cool. Soy sauce, aminos.
And then I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar.
Okay.
And it's unseasoned. I don't use the seasoned vinegar ever. I do not think it tastes good. I think it tastes syrupy. And it adds a lot of sugar.
Oh, right.
So definitely go unseasoned if you can. Unless you like it, it's up to you.
Mhm.
So now I have that marinade ready. I'm going to cut up the mushrooms.
All right.
I'm going to put away my sauces for now too.
The sauce is safely sealed up.
Mhm. More or less. I like a little danger. So Trumpet Royale mushrooms. I'm going to be using 3 of them. That's usually, if I'm cooking for myself on it, usually I'll just use 1 or like 2 small ones. These are pretty nice big ones. You can
Mhm.
use the small ones too, and they're perfectly fine. The big ones are impressive and like they look great on the plate. So I like to eat them.
Cool.
So
Plus, you got to
just,
feed the crew.
got it.
That's right. Do you want to pick that one up?
I got it.
Okay, good.
So first,
Take the wheel.
oh yeah, I'm cutting off the butt of it first, and that's really good. You can use that, save it to use for stock is really nice.
But we're not going to use it for the recipe. So that
Yeah.
bottom, like the bottommost
Yeah.
part is not good for what we're doing.
Yeah, the little ugly chunk we don't need. And
Oh,
then
okay.
I try to really close to where the gills start because right here, the base of it is what we're going to use to make the scallops.
All right.
This is a bonus. I use it for my Chester. So then I cut it into discs about that wide. Is that like half an inch, 1/4 inch?
Yeah, inch, half an inch, inch.
About a half inch.
Half
yeah.
inch, about half inch thickness.
All right.
Zoom through them real quick. Then what I do is take them, like I leave them lying down because like holding them is a little dangerous. And then you're gonna just like cross hatch them. And this lets the marinade get in. It actually makes it so that the texture is really similar to scallops. It makes them break apart when you bite into them. And you don't want to
Nice.
cut all through. You want to go about 1/3 of the way through or 1/4 of the way through because you're going to do that on both sides.
Just a little
And doesn't
bit.
have- yeah, just a gentle little shove into there.
And
And
Marlow, Alex wanted to know if the ends of the scallop are still safe to cook and eat.
Yes, as far as I know. I
I eat
have
them
a
all the
problem.
time.
Yeah. They're just like
I eat
they
the
got
whole
them.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're just like the texture's a little bit different. Sometimes they're a little dirtier. So just like to make a very pretty meal, I'm gonna skip on those.
Sure.
And these like
You're
the
welcome,
crosshatch,
Alex.
like even doesn't have to be perfect. Good is good.
Have fun.
Just have fun.
Get
Be
wild.
yourself. Make new friends.
Laugh,
Laugh, love,
live.
And enjoy mushrooms.
and enjoy the sugar.
It's funny, right before you start doing this, I was wondering how they were going to absorb the marinade in 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, which once again, like I highly recommend leaving it overnight. And actually what I've done before is when I make them, I'll do some for 15 minutes, but I'll just double the amount of mushrooms I have and then keep the rest of them in some marinade until the next day. And then for my next day meal, I'll just have the same thing, but it's a little bit better.
Awesome.
That's a fun way to do it.
Totally.
Yeah. forgot what I was about to say. Had something, but I got distracted.
No worries.
Look great.
Thank
We're all
you.
just zoning on you slicing these scallops.
Yeah. Or we're at home, like very concentrated, cutting our own
Yes.
scallop.
Yeah.
Are
Go
you
ahead,
doing
Jamie.
both sides of the scallop, or are you just cross-hatching one side?
Both sides.
Okay.
Both sides, but don't cut all the way through.
That's the dangerous game we're playing. Can you catch both sides without cutting all the way through?
I guess that's why you want a more of a half-inch thickness.
Yeah. Yeah, especially I guess if you're making it for the first time, I might recommend doing them a little bit wider. But like the thing is, since we're marinating them for such a short amount of time, you also don't want them too thick. So it's a little balancing act. But also like the marinade, we're gonna make into a sauce at the end. So even if it doesn't absorb a lot of it, you're still gonna have tons of flavor.
Can you use the mushrooms for other things?
This is what I usually use these ones for, just because we have a good selection of mushrooms at the co-op, so that's just kind of not usually my go-to. But I've had these in like stir fry and stuff before, and like they're perfectly nice.
Alan,
But
you were
this is
saying
my-
you eat these in other ways, right?
Oh yeah, I actually have a Chinese tahini spicy recipe that I make.
Nice.
I
The trumpets?
I use the trumpets and I use some creminies and some shiitakes, just loaded up with,
Yeah.
just like a
When
skillet.
are you going to do that class?
Yeah, Alan.
I know. I guess I'll have to work that one out.
We do need a cook for June.
We do.
You're gonna cook for June, okay?
Valerie's raising her hand.
Yeah.
Valerie, you know where to find me. You're muted, Valerie.
Oops, I just saw that. I really like to take these and just cut them in half lengthwise and brush them with olive oil, garlic, and whatever seasoning. Grill them or just in a really hot cast iron because they're so meaty. They're like steak.
Yeah,
Yes.
that sounds really good.
And Mark
Nice.
Bittman on the New York Times site has a terrine he does, butter, garlic, these guys sliced really thinly. It is so rich and outrageous, but it's so good.
Wow, that sounds good.
I'm sold on trumpet mushrooms. I've never had them
Oh,
before.
yeah.
I know, now I want to try them.
All right, so the second one, for this one I'll be done. The third mushroom I'm the most excited to work with because it's very thick. That's like perfect for this. That's another solid. I was like, oh yes, it's gonna be fun.
I feel like this cross hatching is a good mindful moment.
Yeah,
Take some deep breaths.
yeah.
Yeah.
Decompress after a long day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, these are awesome. This one's a little bit thick, but we're gonna roll with it.
Wow.
They don't need to be perfect. And the fun thing is that there's no meat, so you don't have to worry about eating raw meat by accident.
Yeah.
This is true. Not going to get salmonella from that one, are you?
Hopefully not. Maybe I try really hard. Right.
You want to point out, I did offer to help cut these mushrooms.
Yeah, not allowed.
Just want to say.
I don't trust you.
I understand, Marlow.
Hey.
It's not about you, Tim.
Good stuff.
Sometimes you just have to do something your own way. It's just
Yeah, I get it.
I love it more. Has the patience to do that. I usually don't have the time to do that. I'm just chop them up, just slice them into the circles and throw them in the skillet.
I find it really relaxing, especially like after a day of working. It's fun to just go home and cook something.
It is.
Even though I'm
Do you
hungry.
listen to music when you cook at home?
Yeah, usually music or sometimes I have a video playing or something, but usually
Yeah.
music. Sometimes just my cat screaming in the background. Just like whatever. Work I asked for. So the big ones, I'm still going to do the same thing of just like cross hatching them, but I go a little bit deeper on these because they're usually a bit thicker.
Oh, on the caps?
on the
Yeah.
cast.
Okay, cool. So we're still cross hatching those,
Not for much longer.
both sides.
Yeah, and I like the gills kind of trout flavor too. So I do really like the caps. That's usually like if I'm cooking for someone else, like I'll present them with like the really nice ones, and then like my like kitchen meal is the tops, which is also really delicious.
And Alex thanked you for the detailed directions in the recipe. She said it really helped.
Good.
Nice.
Thank you. All right, one more.
And I just posted your whole document of instructions and recipes on next month's, just so they can just click on the document and get it all there. Speaking of,
These guys might actually be too big.
Oh, it's huge.
That's a
I
monster.
know. They do shrink.
Yeah, not that much.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm just gonna plop all these bad boys in the marinade gently, so there's no splashage.
Nice.
somebody
Yeah.
would like to see up close.
All right, coming.
You want to get. That's what it's looking like.
Oh,
and I
nice.
slightly like keep on dunking them underneath the liquid and all that. And like while I'm cutting up the bok choy, I'm gonna also keep on doing that. Just because I don't trust them.
Do you want that to be my job, maybe?
Yeah, that'd be
Okay,
perfect.
cool.
Cool.
I can handle it.
We'll let you do that, Tim.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's all prepped. The next thing that we're going to do is cut up an onion and start the onion in the pan with some oil.
And I just put in a link in the chat for Marlow's recipe for next month, for May.
I'm excited about that one. I think that's going to be fun. This is also fun, but that one I'm really pumped about.
I'm excited about both of them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So next I'm going to cut the onion. I like to cut them for this recipe, like somewhere in between bite size and diced. Like I don't like them super small, but also I don't want like them to take up my entire life, you know? So like enough that it's like, ooh, that's a nice chunk of mushroom. Without being like, oh my goodness, it's
You
not
mean
mushroom, I meant onion. That's
Yeah.
embarrassing. I gotta leave.
Credibility by calling an onion a mushroom.
I'm gonna lose my job. I just peel that guy. I cut off each end of the onions. This is just my onion. There's many ways to cut onions. I don't like them. I don't like cutting onions, but I do it a lot because I cook with onions a lot. You gotta do what you
Onions
gotta
go
do.
with just about every dish, don't they?
Yes, absolutely.
Or
Onions,
they
garlic,
almost seem like a requisite for every dish.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh yeah, and I should heat up the oil too. So I'm gonna put about a tablespoon of oil in the pan. I'm using sesame oil because I didn't want to get two kinds of oil.
So a tablespoon of sesame oil.
Yeah.
Not in the
About
pan.
Yeah.
All right.
Probably be careful because sesame oil can burn pretty quick, right?
Yeah. So that's also we want to keep it on no higher than medium.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Keep your pan's heat maybe a medium or lower while you cut the onion up,
Yeah.
and keep an eye on it.
Look at that thing.
Cool.
And when I'm at home, usually the way that I test to see if the oil is ready is I take a chopstick, a clean chopstick, and if you touch it into the oil and it starts bubbling, that means that the oil is ready to go. I do not have a chopstick, so I'm just going to use my heart.
Nice. Follow your
Sounds
heart.
good. Hard it is.
They're still keeping it lean.
Yeah.
Yes. So the wood and the chopstick makes it bubble?
The onion. Yeah, the I don't know the science behind it exactly, but like it'll like where you put it in, it'll bubble around the wood.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For cooking it, basically.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've never heard that.
So, fried bamboo.
Yeah. Delicious. Cool. So that's decently hot. So I'm going. Oh, this is a bigger cutting board than I'm used to. I usually take my cutting board. And dump
Right,
it there.
right.
I go for it. I mean, just your hands.
Just gonna use my hands. Here we
There
go.
you go.
Oh yeah, nice sizzle. Some people like to do their garlic and onions at the same time. I think they're wrong because garlic cooks a lot faster, and it burns a lot faster. So I usually cook the onion on its own for a while first. This looks nice. I'm afraid I'm not allowed to use it. No, it's here. I'm allowed to use it. And also, like when they're in the pan, I kind of like smack the onions to break them up a little bit.
Sure.
So then I don't have to use my hands as much because you can kind of a lot.
So are you saying does the garlic cook quicker?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It burns fast.
Oh,
Like,
right.
So I usually put it in like right before I'm gonna do the marinade and stuff. Also, personally, I really like my garlic a little bit like raw and like large chunks. This time I am going to do it really fine. So I have a little grater I'm gonna use. But sometimes I just like crush the cloves and like cut them in half and throw them in there because I like just like a full bite of garlic is really nice to me.
Right.
But looking for other people today, so trying to do it civilized.
Sounds good.
We like garlic around here.
Yeah.
It's true. We're not shy about garlic. It can be cooking.
I even plan cook.
Nice. I want to try making the honey fermented garlic.
Honey fermented?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It looks really interesting. It's supposed to be super good for you.
Yeah.
It's always a bunch of that black garlic in the
Yes.
section.
I wanted to use that for this recipe, but I put it over the edge price wise.
Yeah.
Black garlic's super fun to work with. Don't be scared of it. It actually it's really tasty. It's kind of like mellow. It has almost like a molassesy taste.
Yeah, it's like sweet.
Yeah.
And it's like it spreads almost like butter.
Yeah.
And it's fermented, right? It's a fermented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They heat it and then they lower the temperature and then they heat it again and they lower it and that ages it. That's kind of how that works. It's fun.
All look perplexed.
What kind of garlic are you talking about?
Black garlic?
Black garlic.
Yeah.
But it's not just raw garlic.
No, it's an aged garlic.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Today I'm just using white garlic, just normal white garlic. I've got 4 cloves. I meant to grab 3, but one of them is so small, honestly, I don't really count it. So
So we're going 3 to 4 cloves,
Yeah.
depending on the size of the clove.
or 6 or 10. It depends on how much you like.
You do you.
Yes.
Julia was asking, do you guys sell the black garlic?
Yes. It's $5 for a little bag of it. It's about the size. It's like a head of garlic. It's really good. I think it's super worth it. It actually lasts in the fridge for a long time too. If you want it for a couple of recipes over a month or so. I highly recommend it. It's a fun one. We have it in the produce section, and then we also have it by the pasta sauces.
Oh, okay, cool.
And right now, when you walk in, actually, it's a little produce end cap right inside the front door, and it's right there. I mean, when you walk in, it might be the first thing you see.
Yeah.
Where the apples usually are and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, so you're crushing the garlic,
Yeah.
huh?
So with the garlic, what I do is I take it and I just crush it with the blade of the knife. And that way the peel just slips right off.
Nice.
And it's also nice because if you like big garlic, then you can just throw the whole thing in there like that. That's what I like to do, or cut it in half. I usually cut off the little butts of them where they attach to the bulb, just because it's a little bit woody.
But today you said you're going to kind of mince it, chop it.
I was going to use the grater that I have, but I realized that that's not going to work because I crushed them so good. So I'm just going to lightly chop them up.
So probably people can chop them to whatever consistency they prefer.
Absolutely. You can even use the jarred garlic if that's what you got.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't really like to use it for cooking. I think it tastes nice, but it has more of a sour taste usually than a spice. So,
Right.
but in a pinch, it works.
Yeah, the convenience of that jarred garlic is hard to beat.
Yeah.
True.
My mother used to give me, when I was a child, she read that garlic can keep mosquitoes away, and I was very prone to mosquito bites. So she would give me a spoonful of garlic every day, which I really looked forward to. It did not keep the mosquitoes away. It did keep other kids away.
I was gonna say, I know who gets away.
But works. I was happy. I was garlic time.
Yeah. It's all a problem, not the problem.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm just really coarsely chopping the garlic because I do like the big pieces.
Nice.
And you guys said you like garlic, so
Give them garlic.
even the garlic.
Let them eat garlic. Cool.
That's fine. I'm also going to grate the ginger, which we also have tube ginger, which I really like. because it's you just like squeeze it. It's really easy, and then it's nice because you don't have like the stringy texture. Sometimes I'm not really in the mood for the texture of ginger. I like the flavor of it, but sometimes I'm like, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
So the chew is really good for like stuff like that. It's great for adding to sauces. What I'm using this time is just I have a grater for garlic and ginger, and I'm just using normal ginger this time to get it really fine. And I have just a thumb size chunk of ginger.
All right.
I need spoon.
Oh, I'll get you some.
Thank you. Perfect.
Do you peel it with a spoon?
Yes.
Nice.
That's what last month cooked.
Was that last month? I was gonna say somebody did that recently.
Yeah, and so I just like hold it, it just kind of like with the back of the spoon.
Kind of pull it towards you.
Yeah, I forgot we can do that. Okay, here I am. And I just kind of like hold it and it kind of like push underneath the skin. And this way you get a lot more control than if you're using a knife, and you lose a lot less flesh that way. And it's not the cheapest thing, so I want to use as much as I can. And personally, I'm okay with leaving a little bit of skin on it. It doesn't bother me. Especially sometimes if I'm making like a large like stew kind of dish, I'll put really big chunks of ginger in it because it's gonna cook for a long time. It's gonna get all that flavor out of it. Without like, and then like you can just eat around the big pieces. Or some people like to just eat the big pieces, but that's not my deal.
Yeah, cutting ginger with a knife is always a precarious situation.
Yeah, a little dangerous.
So that's decently peeled. It still has like some bits in it, but that's okay with me. And then I just take the grater and then you just like rub it against it and it grates it up really nice and fine.
Nice.
So
no grater, just chop it really small, probably, right?
Definitely.
Cool.
And these onions are very nice. Probably could have. My pan at home is bigger, and that's kind of messed me up, but it's going to be fine.
Are you hoping these will be cooked more by now or less by now?
I just want them in a smaller, like not smaller. I want them like flatter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're all on top of each other.
Yeah, they're touching, it's scaring me. But I'm gonna be really brave about it.
Brave face.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's ginger right there. Straight. Yeah, and also when you do this, like sometimes you end up with a little like ginger ghost. It's just like the fibers and stuff. You can leave that in. I don't like to, so I don't eat it. But it is really good if you're making like a soup or something. You throw that bad boy in there. Really good for like stock and stuff.
So right now we got the onion still cooking, got the garlic on the side still, not in the pan yet. Mm-hmm. And the ginger is getting minced. Are we gonna throw all these things in a second?
Yes.
Cool.
Just as soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna toss it all in because the onions are getting a little bit browned. They're nice and translucent. You can cook these as long or as short as you want. I know people that like their onions mostly raw, and it's a personal choice. I'm not there, but you can like caramelize them. That's real nice, but I don't have caramelization time. So.
Cool.
All right, it's done. This. It gets scary when you get down to the end of it because
you don't want to grate your finger.
Yeah, but it wants to grate you.
Yeah.
So then I'm just gonna dump it into there. If you have like a little brush or something, that'll get the goops out.
So the ginger's in the pan.
Ginger's in the pan. A little snack. And then I'm gonna add the garlic in too.
Mushrooms are still marinating beautifully over here.
Thank you for your work.
Yeah.
All right. So Marlow added the garlic in with the ginger.
Yeah, garlic and ginger, then I stir it and let it cook for a minute. All right, and while that's working, I'm going to start cutting up my bok choy.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the bok choy.
Which the bok choy, I have already rinsed and separated my leaves, just because that's what's faster, and like it gives us some time to dry, so we're not adding too much water back into the pan, you know.
So people could be kind of like separating the leaves of their bok choy right now.
Yeah. And I got 4 bunches of bok choy. Honestly, it's quite a lot of bok choy. I don't know if I'm going to use all this. I am going to cut off the stalks of it, not all of it, but like probably like an inch of it.
Okay.
Just a lot of it.
So that super white
Yeah.
part.
Which also, it's because personally, I don't enjoy the texture of this. If you like it, you can leave it in. And then with the leaves, I just cut them
Down the middle lengthwise.
Yeah, and then in half.
And then, yeah.
So they're in quarters like that.
Cool.
Which I'll do another one real quick. So
Oh yeah, Alan's got the camera on you this time.
Base off, then down the middle, and then in half, like that.
All right.
I'm just gonna do all of those real quick, and you can like stack them and do them multiple at a time. I've got some little babies like that. I'm just gonna cut the base off and do them like that.
All right.
The baby bok choy. Oh yeah, thank you.
Uh-huh.
And you can also cut them whatever way that you want, or even put them in both if you like a lot of big textures. But this is just my way.
Cool.
The onions, ginger, and garlic are smelling good.
Nice.
All right, now, oh, there's so much more. What am I doing? There's more bok choy.
A lot of bok choy.
Yeah, and I usually stack them 2 or 3 high at a time just so it's just a little faster. But that's, yeah. I like cutting bok choy. It feels nice.
I do like bok choy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Vegetable.
It's a silly one.
Silly little vegetable.
Ooh, bok choy. Yeah, so, and these do cook down a decent amount too. So like, don't cut them too small unless you want it really small. That's fine. But the white part doesn't really shrink down too much, which is why I don't really use as much of it. I feel like I could probably put it in earlier or something, but I don't want it, so I'm not using it. It's my show.
There you go.
All right, I think that's a good amount.
It's a good amount of bok choy.
I'm gonna do 2 more pieces of bok choy.
We got the bok choy. Let's use it.
Why not?
Fancy with all our bok choy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting wild with it. Okay, so now that's all nice. And I'm just gonna add it to the pan.
All right.
On in.
All bok choy's going in. Big bok.
So that goes in before carrot does?
Yes, but that's a personal choice. I like my carrots really crunchy. So probably for other people, I should have done carrots first. I usually do them one after another. But yeah, it depends on how thick you cut them. I also don't peel my carrots. Usually when I cut my carrots, I like to do them in matchsticks, but this time I'm just going to do circles. So it's very easy.
But if people want softer carrots, they should probably throw them in now.
Yes.
And we had a question. If using ginger in a tube, what amount should they use?
Depends on how spicy you like it. Like a tablespoon's a teaspoon is nice. I like a tablespoon. So basically just, yeah, like a teaspoon to a tablespoon, depending on your spice level enjoyment.
Sounds good.
And I cut the carrots in half and then in quarters. So they're like that. And I just keep them together while I chop like that.
Nice.
Get them that shape.
Excellent.
And I guess if you really want them to cook and not be too crunchy, if you have a separate pan, you could maybe get them cooking on their own separately.
Scary bits.
Keep this vegan. I say keep it vegan.
No problem with this.
No finger.
A little garnish.
Little extra.
Yeah.
A little extra protein.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. The bok choy's already starting to cook down a little bit.
All right, and then I'm just gonna add the carrots in now.
Okay.
And then I'm also gonna do some of the marinade in it just to flavor it because it's just got mushrooms in it. You don't have to be worried about meat.
Excellent.
So I just kind of drizzle it around.
Could have been like half a cup of marinade or
Yeah.
something like that.
Which you still want to keep a decent amount of the marinade because it's marinating. Then also you're going to be using that to make the sauce at the end.
Right, right. Will the bok choy greens break down like say like spinach?
Not as much as spinach, but decently. Kind of I would say kind of more like chard.
Oh, okay. Cool.
If it's like chard. Like it's not as tough as like
Kale.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's maybe in between like kind of similar to last one I was thicker. Never mind. Yeah, it's very similar to chard. And if you don't have bok choy, you can just use chard instead, actually.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely, I wish that I had a bigger pan. My pan's about like that big. So it kind of like sits a little bit better. But it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna rock with it.
So what's our goal now? We just want this all to cook together, cook down a little bit, soften up. Cool.
Yeah, well, that's happening. I think it's been enough time. I'm gonna start drying the scallops
Okay.
because I just take paper towels and pat them off on either side, so then it gets them crispy faster.
Oh, nice.
So pass that paper towels.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, here, a little plate.
Cool. Plate, some paper towels.
Yeah.
We're gonna dry these mushrooms off.
All right.
I have tongs, so I just remove them from that, which you can just use your fingers. That's what I usually do at home. And I just kind of like pat them to squeeze out the excess moisture a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Especially like you want them juicy on the inside, but not really the outside. So like they're still gonna look wet and all that, but they're not like soaking wet.
Sure, sure. So you're kind of pressing on them when you pat them to squeeze some of it out.
Yes, not
Okay.
super hard, but just like enough. Just enough.
Just a little
Just
touch.
a little touch, little
Firm.
enough that like when you keep on doing that, it's eventually gonna not make it completely soaked.
And Julia said, "Thank you for this great recipe. I love mushrooms. This is a treat I would have never known about without you teaching us. Thanks."
Yeah, I'm glad. I hope that turns out good. And then I'm just
And then Alex wanted to know, will they still get toasty if I don't pad them dry?
yes, but it takes significantly longer.
That's what I
And
was
also you
thinking.
might have to dump out your pan a couple of times because a lot of the moisture, like even like you'll see when I do these ones, like there's still a lot
Moisture will
that
come
comes out of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Especially-
vegetable mixture looks wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, colorful.
Mm.
That one actually need a little bit drier. I'm also forgot that I'm going to cut a lemon in half and then put the juice of half of a lemon into this.
Oh,
I
okay.
like half into everything basically, lemon or lime. Works really well. And I'm gonna save the other half of the lemon to make wedges to garnish it with, but that's not necessary. And what I like to do is I juice the lemon. Where did that thing go? There it is. I take a strainer and I just juice directly into the strainer, and that'll catch any seeds or anything that come out of it.
Right.
If you don't have a lemon squeezer.
It's acid.
Yeah.
You have a little hand juicer at home. You could use that to, pour it in.
Yeah. And like pre-juiced lemon juice is fine too. I prefer freshly squeezed, and I work in produce, so I just have a lot of access to it, but it's not
Definitely.
I'm not a snob. And you can even do a couple of mushrooms at the same time. You can kind of line them up in a row on top of your paper towel and then just fold it over a couple of times and squeeze it.
Cool.
That gets them pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about this part is that it's just a lot of paper towels that I just throw. Which, if you have like a fire or something, you can throw them in. That's nice. But I live in an apartment.
Right.
I can't be starting fires in there. I don't like that.
I guess you could use cloth if you wanted,
Definitely, yeah,
like a kitchen towel or something, you know,
yeah.
that's
Clean
not
one.
very fibrous.
Like that's one of the things that I would say to watch out for because I've used some stuff before there where it's like, all right, there's gunk on this. I don't like that. So yeah, any gunk-free rag works
Yeah.
great. Right. So
Getting there.
getting there.
Veggies are cooking.
Yay.
How's
Thank
it
you.
smelling, Tim?
Smells great.
Awesome.
Whenever I'm in the kitchen, I don't know what to do with myself. I stir the vegetables. That's just like my favorite.
I do the same and I get yelled at for stirring too much.
You do. They're like, let them cook. I'm like, all right.
Guilty as charged.
I'll curate the music. Why don't I just do that?
As soon as I start hearing the sizzling, I get paranoid that things are going to burn, you know, and I start stirring.
Yeah.
And one thing with if you use like kelp granules, there is little bits of kelp on there. So don't be scared. That's what the little dots are. That's just little kelp,
Little bits of kelp.
little granules.
Cool.
Can you eat the mushroom raw?
I believe so. I haven't tried it.
Yeah.
But
Oh, like in a salad or something?
do you know?
You know, I don't know. I've never. I tend to cook all my mushrooms.
Yeah.
Just because I mean, these are farmed,
Mhm.
but you know, you can get parasites in certain mushrooms, especially wild ones. You want to always cook wild ones because they get bugs in them.
Mhm.
So either cooking them or drying them.
I think its texture will probably be a little bit better cooked, right?
Yeah, yeah. The trumpets definitely taste good.
So I just did a quick like Google search, and the internet says you can eat trumpet mushrooms raw or cooked, but a lot of sites are saying, like what Alan was saying, if they're wild, you want to cook them because they have so much dirt and stuff in them.
Yeah.
But we don't have anybody here who's tried raw trumpet mushrooms, I don't think.
No.
And the co-op ones are not wild.
No.
So there's that.
Yeah. They're farmed.
This is hard because I'm usually when I'm cooking at home, I'm usually just like constantly tasting it and like adjusting.
Do you want a fork?
No. No, I'll take a fork. Yeah.
Oh, you do want a
I'll
fork?
take
Okay.
a fork. Thank you.
Taste it.
Yeah, just especially to try the texture of the different vegetables and stuff to make sure those are where I'm liking it. The flavor is probably not going to be super there yet because I haven't made the sauce. I try to do a pretty simple recipe. Usually I use a lot of different sauces and spices and stuff, but try and keep it normal.
And Laura mentioned that once the library produce case had bok choy and asked if there'll be more. I hope so, Laura. We've had bok choy a lot more than once. I haven't seen any in almost a year, so I'm hoping we see some this produce season. Our sources have been depleted a bit due to federal cuts, so we're not sure what we'll be seeing in the near future, but hopefully we'll get bok choy again. And Jamie said they taste great raw with this marinade. We had a few pieces. We've been eating them. Nice.
Nice.
There we go. Somebody's eating them raw. Thank you.
All right.
And I'm adding just a little bit more of the aminos, probably about like half to 3/4 of a tablespoon, just because it was a little bit. I just wanted a little bit more from it. And
Soy sauce or aminos.
yeah, just to kind of bump it up. Once again, like it's totally up to you, like how much of different flavors you want there, and also like keeping in mind that we're going to make a sauce at the end, which we're getting to soon. So
I'm not. Julia asked whose idea was it to cut this program. We're not cutting this program. some federal programs have been cut, so we can't get as much produce as we used to get.
In the community fridge, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
The cooking show's going on.
Yes. We're gonna work with what the co-op has from now on.
Oh, goodness me.
All right.
No, we did have onions in the fridge today, so you could have used library onions in this recipe.
Library onions, I like
that. So now the vegetables are done, so I'm just gonna pull them off, and keep the pan on the heat. I'm gonna have it on medium to medium high because I want it crispy pretty fast. Usually I put like avocado oil, but I am gonna use sesame oil because that's what I have. And so just enough to it's probably, I forgot to measure it. I don't usually measure things.
Yeah, maybe like a tablespoon.
That's true.
A little more maybe.
Spoonish.
Yeah, enough to swirl it around the pan and it nicely coats it without it being sitting in oil,
Sure.
Just it from sticking.
Nice.
And so you're saying generally you use avocado oil for the mushrooms?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which
We're doing sesame this time.
yeah, I could have just gotten 2 oils and it would have been fine, but I don't know. I wanted to keep it
simple.
Keep it simple. All right, and that's heating up, getting a little bit of bubbling. I have a calculator watch. I'm going to use it as a timer, just so I know where I am.
Calculator watch, fancy.
Something like that.
And Alex was saying she just gently squeezed the mushrooms with her hands, and that worked. So
perfect. Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome.
And you can save all that extra juice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can save your paper towels.
Yeah. So
right,
now I'm just putting them in. Which sometimes like when I'm cooking alone, if I have time, I'll just do one of them first. One of my testers. But since this is a little cooking show, I'm gonna just put them all in at the same time and hope for the best.
Awesome.
It's never been bad before, so shouldn't say that. How can it be scary? I got evil mushrooms.
Marlo, were you saying you set the timer for the mushrooms?
Yes. Well, I set just a stopwatch. So usually at about 3 to 5 minutes, I flip them. And then, but you can totally just do it visually, figure out when they're ready. But I like to know how much time it is because then I can kind of plan to put them on the other side for the same amount of time.
Sure.
A little higher heat. So we put them to brown.
It's all fit perfectly.
Yeah, that's lucky.
What type of oil did you use?
I use sesame oil. But usually I would use avocado.
But yeah, usually Marlo uses avocado oil. So if you have avocado oil, you could cook the mushrooms in that.
Solid. And then while that's happening, they're just sitting in the pan right now, trying to get crispy. I'm going to return the marinade to the pan that I boiled the water in.
Oh, okay.
Keep the marinade up?
Keep the marinade up. We want it boiling this time.
There we go.
I think you want.
Gotcha. That's a little encouragement. And then in a separate container, I'm just going to use a bowl. I combine some cold water with, and it has to be cold. If you use hot water, it's going to get funky, with cornstarch. So use a tablespoon of cornstarch. Still there. And 1 tablespoon of cold water.
Okay.
Tablespoon cornstarch, tablespoon of water.
And then I'm going to whisk it.
I'm curious what this part is going to be used for.
Oh, this is, so I'm making a cornstarch slurry, which is really common in Asian cooking as well. And it makes it's a thickener. So it's going to be more of a sauce instead of just
Thicken the sauce up. Got it.
So we're just mixing the starch and water in a bowl.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm actually going to do 2 tablespoons of water instead of 1 tablespoon, just because I feel like that.
2 tablespoons water, 1 tablespoon cornstarch.
Kind of whisk it together, get all the clumps out. Because if you add the cornstarch directly into the hot water, it'll just congeal instantly, and it's not very pleasant. But if you make a slurry and then slowly pour it in while you're stirring it, then it thickens the sauce, which is really nice. But then also when you do that, make sure that you let it cook for a couple of minutes, because otherwise when you take it off the heat, it just like poops right back out. So you want to stay thick.
Right, right.
And is this pot with the marinade going to boil, or are you
Yes.
heating it up?
We're trying to get it to boil, and then I'm going to turn it down to medium, and then add the cornstarch and keep stirring it.
Got it.
Oh, okay. So you're making like a thicker sauce from the marinade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, guys, you can do it. They're starting to cook.
Alex said, it smells amazing. I'm so excited. Thank you for the recipe.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I didn't do like a starch for a side because it's a lot of vegetables. But you can totally do rice. It's perfect with it. I actually really like to do instant mashed potatoes with it. And I use some of the marinade in place of water. So then it has the flavor like throughout the mashed potato.
Interesting. Okay. I was going to ask why you did instant. Now I know.
And also because I'm cheap and sometimes I just need something really fast.
Yeah.
So yeah. I actually really like instant mashed potato. I feel like it's really underlooked as an ingredient. You can add it to soups. Like if you have a soup, you can add that to it and it thickens the soup and also like gives a really good flavor. I love that in like a chicken soup. I never use milk for it. I just use water and it's fine. You use broth, that's delicious.
Nice.
And it's thick, like as long as like you do it right, like you're not making it. You just gotta practice, like figuring out. I feel like one of the most important things about cooking is just learning how to be the best cook for yourself. Because like you're not gonna like things exactly how everyone else likes it, so you might
throw this over there.
And Marlo, we had a question. You're boiling the rest of the marinade, right? Not a certain amount. Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna boil all of it, Tina and Sky.
You want to also boil the water over there?
Oh, that'd be great.
Okay.
Cool.
Pivoting to the stove.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going to the stove because this is
Not
sad.
boiling quick enough, is it?
Yeah. The burner's not working. So
Yeah.
It's like, how long can we use this and complain about it before we just replace it altogether?
Yeah, we should do that. Jamie wanted to know what temperature is the mushroom pan at?
It is at medium right now.
Yeah.
Medium.
Like a medium heat.
Yeah, it depends on what oil you're using, which is I would usually do it medium high, but I'm afraid of the oil getting funky. So that's why I usually use avocado oil. It has a higher smoke point. If I'm remembering correctly.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Kind of clean up a little bit. And I'm actually gonna put some of the veggies on the plate. So I'm gonna do like a show you plate. So
Excellent.
style plate.
yes.
Perfect.
So just to kind of get it ready for when it's time.
I just wanted to remind everybody cooking along to email me pictures of your dishes before you eat them. You guys all have my email in your Zoom confirmations.
Okay, I'm gonna go look at those mushrooms.
Okay.
All right.
Want the tongs?
Oh yes, they're there. Friends, Thomas. Yeah, that's good.
They're sizzling over there.
This is one over there.
Have we flipped them yet?
Nope.
We have not. That's because we had to switch over to the stove.
When
But
should-
we probably
when
will
should-
soon.
When should people cooking along flip theirs?
When it's browned, and so just like choose one mushroom instead of like constantly flipping all of them. So usually I use one of my cluster mushrooms, which is the cap, and just like take a peek at it when it's nice and like brown and crispy on the bottom. That's when you're gonna want to flip it over, and just get the other side to the same amount of cooked.
So we're looking
And
for
I'll-
like it be browned and a little crispy. Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then
And the
on
marinade's starting to bubble. So in actually right now, I'm gonna pour this slurry in and immediately start whisking and then just like keep an eye on it while I whisk it.
All right.
Coming over. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Alan.
So you're adding a little slurry at a time, right?
Just put all of it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
good.
but, like stirring while that's happening. It's already starting to thicken.
Nice.
So I want them a little bit crispier than that.
Okay.
Keep that going.
There it goes. I think we got a message here. Hi, this is Saya. Me and my mom is cooking the mushrooms and it's nicely toasting. Awesome. Thanks, Saya.
Nice.
Did you turn the temperature down on the sauce when it was boiling?
Yeah. I turned it down to medium because when you add the cornstarch in, it starts to foam up a lot more.
Good question. Thank you, Jamie.
Bubbling though.
How long are we going to keep it bubbling with the?
At least I usually do 5 minutes. Just because usually by that point it's not going to break down when you take it off the heat. And then also yeah.
Okay.
But if you want it thicker, just cook it longer. You can add more cornstarch slurry into it if you want. But usually if you just cook it down, stuff will evaporate. It'll be fun.
So 5 minutes of letting it kind of boil, simmer.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Mushrooms are getting there, but they're not white.
Yeah, I guess it's all the juice in the mushrooms that keep them from browning.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we didn't pat them down, it would take even longer.
Yeah, I can
sometimes
see that.
I'll just pour my juices into.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that because I have my little bowl right here from the cornstarch.
So you're going to remove a little bit of the liquid from the pan.
Yeah. Not all of it, especially some of it's oil. Lost today. But you can just tip some of it out.
From the mushroom pan, right?
The pan, yeah. Less liquid, so they'll brown faster.
Everybody's looking busy in their kitchens. I like it.
Yeah.
And I'm turning the heat back up to medium high because it kind of stops bubbling on the sauce.
Oh, okay.
Sauce bubbling.
Yeah.
Got it.
Whatever that looks like for your setup.
And I don't know if y'all noticed earlier, but Marlow was using a lot of bulk items from the co-op. So you don't, when you make recipes like this, a lot of this stuff you can get in bulk at the co-op. So you don't have to buy a whole jar of a spice or, the
Kelp powder.
Kelp powder. Yeah. You might not use it again for a while. So it's nice to go and get it in the bulk section at the co-op.
Yes. Alex is decorating a plate.
Alex said she's trying to decorate a plate to send me a picture, but Saya keeps eating the mushrooms. How are they, Saya?
Yes.
Well, if she gets to, I'm sure Alex's plate is going to look beautiful.
Oh, yes, I am sure.
All right.
She said they're delicious.
I'm about to cook the mushrooms. They're not quite, I like them a little bit more done than that, but I'm just going to try to get the other side crispy.
Sure.
So at home, I guess people can decide how crispy they want them, how brown they want them. Marlow likes them a little more on the brown side. I think I would too. We're watching the water because that wants to boil over.
Oh, yeah. Whisking away there.
Whisking the night away.
Oh, some of them are getting a little brown.
Ooh, that's
yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Cordelia said, yeah, I'm so excited to try them. My mouth is watering looking at them cooking. I know this is exciting.
So definitely, if you can try to get them like that, that's gonna be perfect.
So you generally toast them pretty good, it sounds like.
Yes. Which is also why I like to marinate them the night before, because then I can squeeze more out of them while still having a lot of flavor in it.
Right.
That's the pretty decent. It's 72 hot, 5 to 4. It's just, well, this is the one. Hold on a second.
How's everybody's scallops doing?
Yeah, people in the kitchens do look busy.
They do.
This is the
Oh,
delicate.
nice. Those are nice and brown. Thanks, Tina.
Let me see.
Nice.
Oh wait, Marlow
I
missed
want to
it.
see.
Come back.
Ooh, yeah, that looks really good.
Nice.
Nice.
Thank
Cool.
you.
And if they're not crispy enough, like if you make it and then you flip them and then you're like, that one doesn't look great, you can just flip it back over again after the other ones are done and just give it a little extra time by itself.
There you go.
So this is sometimes how it needs to go, especially like if your pan's pretty crowded. Like sometimes you have to go in batches, and that's fine.
I would think too, you can move the ones from the middle to the outer edges and move the ones from the outer edges to the middle, and they might cook a little quicker.
This is like the last step, right? We're plating after
Yep.
this, basically. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while that's given that a minute, I'm gonna cut this lemon into little wedges really quick, just so there's a little garnish.
So if you want some lemon for garnish, or cutting that up a bit.
When you make this at home, Marlow, do you have a trick for keeping your vegetables warm?
No, I put like sometimes I put like a cover over it, like a pan lid.
To keep them warm? Okay.
Usually fine.
Well, I'm guessing you're going to put that hot marinade on it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Nice.
Cool. And some of these are getting done, so I'm gonna grab another slate. And just like as they're becoming finished, the ones that get done faster, I'm just taking them out. And then I can move the other ones to the center of the pan so they get more heat.
Cool.
They look great.
Yeah, they do. Are we just putting them right on a plate, Marlow, or are you putting them on a paper towel again?
I'm just putting them on a plate, and then I'm gonna put them directly on top of the vegetables when I'm done.
Excellent. Yum. I'm getting hungry.
They're mushrooms, Paul. You don't like mushrooms.
I don't know. This looks pretty good. If they taste like a scallop, I think I like them.
That's true.
Yeah. You'll like them then.
I've heard I might like lobster mushrooms for the same reason.
Oh, yeah.
I found a couple in my yard, but I think they were like past their prime when I found them.
Of all the mushrooms, lobsters are the ones that I can't. I don't know. They weird me out the most. I usually pass on lobster mushrooms.
Have you tried them?
No, I've never had lobster
Yeah,
mushrooms.
I never have either.
I haven't figured out the recipe yet. Kat who runs the deli, she told me she likes to grill them.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Look like actual lobster tail. It was amazing.
Yeah,
I ate it.
I took a picture of that one.
Yeah.
We get some big lobster mushrooms in here.
They had a lobster mushroom in the produce department that actually looked like a lobster tail.
Yeah.
I find lobster mushrooms to be kind of bland. And when I was hardcore vegetarian, mushrooms and nuts were like my Bible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So do they taste kind of like fish?
I did not find them to be so. Like oyster mushrooms, you can totally kind of get that little bit of hint of the sea.
Uh-huh.
If you're using some kind of deglazing, use vermouth, and it really brings out that fishiness of the oyster mushrooms.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
But not lobster, huh?
Ooh.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the chestnut mushrooms you guys have are outrageously good.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. I have not had chestnut mushrooms.
Oh, I love the chestnut. That's one of my favorite.
Oh, good.
Marlow's favorite, yeah.
Sky was saying that Tina makes a delicious lobster mushroom paella. I love paella.
Ah,
And Jamie was saying sometimes lobster mushrooms do taste fishy. You can make a good scampi with lobster mushrooms. Ooh, nice.
Nice. We have some lion's mane too right now. Yeah. That's another mushroom that can be considered a little bit fishy, right? Lobster mane.
I don't know if they're considered fishy, but people make those crab cakes like Sam did.
We did the crab cake, yeah.
Right.
yeah. I know. I'm trying to cultivate some lobsters in my yard. So,
What's the strategy?
well, you have to have a certain kind of mushroom already growing there. It's like a short stemmed, I think it's called a short stemmed brucella.
Yeah.
And then I found some lobster mushrooms somewhere else, and I took them and broke them up into little pieces and stuck them by where the mushrooms were, hoping that they'll,
Spores
and the little bacterias and things like that.
All right. Marlow's back.
I'm
We'll
back.
see this season.
Oh, all right.
All right.
So that took about 19 minutes total, which if I didn't use the first one first, then it would have been a lot faster, but that's okay.
Yeah, if you go overhead, Marlow.
I got the overhead on,
Okay.
so you can show
Yeah,
it.
it's on.
Where am I? Okay, so this is how the mushrooms are looking.
Nice.
These, once again, are just kind of the ones for me because they're a little bit uglier, but they're actually real tasty. But yeah, they're nice brown, all that good stuff. And I'm just gonna put them on top of my veggies.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like some rice with this
Yeah.
would be my move, I think.
I think mashed potatoes sound good too, though.
Yeah.
Potatoes real good.
I wouldn't think of that, but
I eat mashed potatoes almost every night, so I'm a
Nice.
creature of habit.
So then I'm gonna take just a little bit of the sauce, and just kind of drizzle it upon it. And you can use as much or as little as you want.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to, for finishing touches, I have some, where did I put those bad boys there? I have sesame seeds, which I'm using black sesame seeds this time. I just do a little sprinkle on it.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
man,
I would pay top dollar for that
you're
plate.
done. Boom.
Let us see it, Alan.
All right. Bread. Hold on a sec. All right. It's overhead there.
Nice. Wait, go forward. There we go.
Oh,
There
yeah.
we go.
Nice. That's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
Ooh, that looks good.
That's the meal.
How are all our cooks at home doing?
It's Marlow.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you pick up the plate?
All right. I think everybody's doing pretty good. How's everybody doing with their cameras off? I don't know who's cooking along out there.
All right, my turn.
All right.
Oh, that looks nice, Tina and Sky. Good job.
Nice.
Email me a pic before you eat it, please.
And you can
Take
totally do
take a picture. You can eat first. And if people need to go to eat, please do. We don't want it getting cold. Suzanne said, looks delicious. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Suzanne.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks, Dana. Thanks, Jamie. Have a good one.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Valerie. Glad you made it. You must have finally got those emails.
All 5 of them.
I told you there'd be a few.
Yeah, Valerie, if you ever want to host, I think you said that you are interested in cooking. So
I would be absolutely honored. And I love it.
So I might use one of those emails to contact you this week or next.
Okay, either one.
Thank
All
you
of
so much. We'll be in touch.
Sure.
And Cordia said, thanks, Marlow. This was phenomenal.
Thank
Aaron
you.
said, nicely done, Marlow. And Amy said, what are we having next month? I will post it again. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm making tofu ginatang. It's a Filipino dish. Ginatang means with coconut milk. So it's just like it's vegetables and tofu that's cooked in coconut milk with some other stuff too, of course. I'm very excited to share that. So.
And I just posted a link to it on the library's calendar. You can see a picture of the dish. I also attached all of Marlow's recipe and instructions. There's a little description of Jin Tang. Did I say it right?
Ginatang.
Ginatang. Thank you. Valerie said, thank you for a great class and ideas. Thanks, Valerie. But yeah, click on that link and you'll get, you'll see next month's recipe. Thank you, Marlow. This was amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Awesome. Is everybody done that's cooking along? Because we have a no cook left behind philosophy here. Christina, I know you were cooking along. How's it going? Maybe she's eating.
Yeah, eating.
Awesome.
Nice.
I sent you a picture to your email.
Thank you so much. Enjoy.
It tastes good, except for I added a little too much ginger in mine.
Oh.
So, but that wasn't your fault. That was my fault because I like ginger, but I wasn't sure I wanted quite that much.
Right, right. I could see that. Awesome.
Well,
I like the mushrooms are great. I had a fun class, so I appreciate it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Christina. Appreciate it.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye. Alex, I'm assuming you finished being the chef that you are. What'd she say?
she's done.
All finished. We are excited to have dinner. I took a picture for you, Paul. Thank you. Thank you, Marlow, Tim, Alan, and Paul. We appreciate you guys. Thank you. Appreciate you back.
Wow.
Well, does anybody have any questions or comments before we sign off? Awesome. Thanks for another awesome recipe, Marlow. We're looking forward to next month as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Paul.
Yeah. Thanks, y'all.
See ya.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Alan. Everybody have a good night. Enjoy those scallops.
Yeah.